still muted. Sorry, I was muted. Hey, everybody, welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. I wanted to come on here. Listen, I've been wanting to come on here for days, but life just hasn't worked out like that for me. So here we are. I'm trying to move back in my house. I can't move back in my house because I got to buy new furniture for the living room, and it's been a lot. Meanwhile, I've been over here. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I've been over here at the Hotel Zaza, turning up. Listen, come see about me about Hotel Zaza, okay? They have treated me really well. You know what? They sent me a whole bottle. I don't know if y'all can see it. Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't need no bottles, okay? She can't handle a bottle. I can't handle a bottle. But listen, they sent me a bottle. They sent me like a fruit tray. It was very cute. I'm happy that they did that. But yeah, I've been wanting to come on here to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We'll start with Atlanta. I'll probably go live a little bit after this one. Probably directly after this one to recap the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 2. Excuse me. But for right now, we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. There's been a lot going on in Atlanta, but let me just make sure that I am live and everybody can see me, because YouTube does these things where for whatever reason, even though you're live, people have to go to your page and then click your live to go live. They don't put it in the live run up. So like, or rundown. So like you could go to YouTube and you could click on the word live. And even though you're live, it won't show your live. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's part of the algorithm of like, we're going to push out your content as long as you're consistent. But if you drop off in any way or you waver, God forbid you have a life. Okay. So I'm going to go and see if I go to live right now. Let's see if I show up. Let me go on YouTube on my iPad here. So I'm going to click the word live. So I'll just show you guys. So see, I clicked live up here where the black is, that says live, right? So then it's going to show you, because you'll see all of these little red dots or red little lower thirds or whatever you want to call them. Those show they have a live button by it. So then, these are all of the people that are live. So right now on YouTube, I am not live. Even though I'm live talking to you guys, I am not live. It does not show my live up here. It only shows 1, 2, so that's 6, 8. It shows 8 people are live, or 8 content creators are live, and I'm not one of them. Right? But if I go to the search bar and I search Chanel's Reality, and hold on. Okay. Well, so they have one here that's scheduled for 5:45, but it's already 5:45, so I don't know why it's showing that. So this one is waiting for some reason. I don't know why. I'm live. Clearly I'm live. There's 2 people watching, so I know that I'm live, but it doesn't show. So let me see if I go to my channel this way. View channel. So now when I go this way, I have to go to my channel first and then view, and then you could see it says that I'm live right here. But YouTube, if you just went to YouTube, if I was like, hey, I'm live, and people wanted to go and see that I'm live, they wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't be able to go through the general term where you go to YouTube and then you just type in, you hit the live button. It doesn't show me as live, even though I am live, right? And I have someone that's commenting. Yeah. So see, you can see that I'm live. Hey, boo. Shout out to Miss Arias, aka the Drip King. But anyways, so like I was saying before, I think sometimes YouTube, like if you're not consistent, if you like when I first started coming on YouTube, and then I'll just say this and then we'll get back to it. When I first started my channel on YouTube, a year ago now, I got consistent views and I got like thousands of views all the time. But sometimes if you're working hard or you got family or you got whatever you got going on, holidays, once you drop out of that, whatever it is that box that YouTube has you in, then you have to work really hard to get back to where that is in order for them to put you back into the rotation. And I don't get it. I don't understand why I gotta be penalized, but it's their world. I'm just living in it. So, anyways, back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, I believe. This is a meal. Hold on. So this is season 16. I think this is episode 4 or 5, but let me just make sure. Because I think I put it in the I'm sure I put it in the description exactly what episode it is. I'm just waiting for it to get back to the. Oh man, is it gonna start over? Because I can't. It is. It's so annoying. So it wants me to start over again. But anyways, so this episode, let me go to my little notes here, child. First, let me make sure everybody can hear me. See, this that other shit. Like now it won't even let me click on it. That's so retarded. I can't. Okay, let's see. Can y'all hear me? Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, it's going. All right. Anyways, okay, so I'm gonna start at the end because that's where all the juicy part is. So at the end, Portia. So at the end, Drew Sadora comes in and she's trying to, I guess, make nice with Portia, who Portia is paying her complete dust. She's trying to say, I called you. I want to communicate. We both going through a divorce. We both should, we're going through a lot. We should be, basically on each other's team. And we don't need to be fighting, yawning on and on, right? And so it's like, Portia ain't trying to hear her. Portia, so Drew makes some comments. She's just like, you can have his hot dog. And Portia's like, yeah, that's cute, whatever, whatever. I don't know. I feel like I don't really understand why Portia's mad because Portia stole, I won't say she stole. Portia took somebody's whole ass husband. Now he went willingly, but you went over there to that man's house and that woman's house and, ended up, her husband ended up being your husband and y'all was co-workers. So I really have a hard time feeling any type of empathy for Portia because, girl, your track record is not great in the man department. It's very much, it gives, I will sell my queen Victoria to the highest bidder, honey. I just need a ring on the finger. That's all Portia really wants. It's like that's her value is if a man wants me enough and he has a lot of paper and he can buy me, then I'm good with it. We can figure everything else out later. Like she said her ex-husband or her soon-to-be ex-husband, Simon Gubadia is, impotent, all this kind of stuff. And listen, he drug her for filth. So whatever Portia says is fine. Because he drug her for absolute filth. But anyways, at the end of this episode, they show everyone coming in and congratulating Kenya on her success of opening her salon, and everybody's happy for her. All the ladies show up for her. Kelly and Britt Edie are in like a Mercedes-Benz van being shuttled over to Kenya's event, and on their way there, Britt discloses that, she lost her father and then recently she lost her auntie, like seemingly like a few days before this event is what it seemed like. It was like she said something like my aunt had a stroke and then she was on life support and then basically they pulled the plug. That's kind of a summary of what they kind of spoke about on their way to Kenya's hair salon. Kenya speaks to Angela and says, basically like, listen, I am glad that you reached out to me. You're the only one that reached out to me, called me, checked on me, or whatever the case may be. I'm not really sure I understand Kenya this season, or if maybe this is who Kenya's been this whole time, but they really only show the fiery, don't come for me unless I send for you, Kenya. I'm not really sure, but this person is very mild and doesn't seem like she's full of drama, which is shocking to me because I'm like, Kenya has all the smoke, and anybody can come and get it. Like, she's always been that girl, with the exception of Mark, the guy that here we go. Hey, Coach Ferg. Coach, get out of my chat. Talk about Coach Ferg says Chanel still moving in her feelings. It blocks vision. I'm not moving in my feelings. This is Chanel's reality. It's my reality. It is what it is. You don't like it, switch the channel. It is what it is. But it's my opinion, Coach. So that's all it is. And so Kenya appeared to be a very kind of sniper type of individual, but she was, I think, fit the mold well because she could read you up and down. She ain't giving nobody grace unless she kind of really needs you for something. Kenya is very much a strong exterior and probably is soft on the inside because she cries a lot. She has a lot of drama, a lot of trauma from growing up without her mom and all that type of thing that she really hasn't ever resolved, which is why I think a lot of people have a soft. That's the only reason I really have a soft spot in my heart for her, is because it has to be hard to grow up around your mother and she never acknowledges you. That has to be difficult, right? For a child and especially an adult. You're just like, everybody wants to feel like they matter. And if you don't feel like you matter to your mom, that has to be the worst feeling. It's just like, you carried me around almost a whole year in your body. What do you mean you don't know me? You ain't talking to me. Like, I get it. But instead of Kenya taking that horrible feeling and turning it into a strength and loving people, she'd rather read people, which is good for TV. So, it is what it is. I'm not mad at her for that. She came back every season to get her check. But this season, she lost her check. And the reason she lost her check, in my opinion, is because she was rewarded for so many years for bad behavior, right? You reading people from up and down, left and right, and cutting people to the core with your tongue. And you were rewarded for it. Probably 500,000 or more every single season. So if you're getting rewarded 500,000, more than 500,000, or even a little under 500,000 every single season to go on tape for 3 months, maybe go on some, fashionable trip and just basically go out to eat and drink with other women your age and argue with them and be the villain. Okay. I'm just like, I'm not that person that's ready to give up that part of my soul. So I'm not with it, but she is, along with all the other ones. A lot of those people, they're very empty on the inside. This is just my opinion, because if you are a real housewife and you're supposed to be living the life that we all aspire to be, right, where you don't have to worry about how much it costs, you can eat wherever you want to eat, you can travel the world, you don't have to worry about if your bills are going to get paid, all of those things. If you can do that, then why would you need to be on TV? Most people, if you talk to a lot of people and ask them about, like, if they were rich, would they want to be famous? Even you talk to the famous people and they say, I'll leave the fame. Give me the rich and wealthy and I could be secluded and mind my business and just move on through the world. But so to me, the reason why I say those people seem empty is because if you have the husband, you have the house, you have the life, you have the kids, you got a family, why are you still looking for more? If you can provide for yourself, provide for your wife, provide for your kids, provide for your husband, whatever it is, what are you still looking for? And there's nothing wrong with those people that are looking for fame. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think it's very intoxicating, right? But that's why I say I feel like they're empty a lot of times on the inside. And so then what do you try to fill up that emptiness with is a whole bunch of people that are watching you on TV. The thing that I think that most of them don't bank on is how it might impact them emotionally, how it might impact their family, their kids, how their friends and family look at them, because they're only showing 3 minutes of that 3 hours of your life. So a lot of times it's out of context. It's out of context. Like this fight that they had in the last scene of the last episode, where Britt and Kenya are kind of going at it, or whatever the case may be. And Britt says something. Kenya calls Britt a peasant or something like that. And then Britt, that triggers her in some way. And then they kind of go at it, and Britt says something about a weapon, or she basically, I don't think she threatened Kenya from what I saw, and I've watched it like 3 times. I don't think she threatened Kenya, but she definitely, you shouldn't be bringing up any type of weapon in the conversation when you're in a heated debate with anybody for any reason. You really shouldn't be bringing it up at all. But if you're going to bring it up, you certainly don't want to bring it up in a room full of people that can say this is what you did and this is what they witnessed, because now everything else is going to be called into question, especially because you then went on social media before we got to see all of this and said you didn't do that. You didn't say that. So now all of your credibility is up for grabs. So anything you say from here on, it's questionable. Nobody knows if you're really telling the truth, you know? And Kenya's response to that, totally out of order. Totally believe Kenya should have been fired 100%. I don't know if I believe what's her name? Britt should have been fired, but I certainly think she should have got suspended. If production knew, and they obviously knew, because you have to go through that footage, right? Because there's lots of raw footage in between the time that they film and the editor gets it in the editing bay, right? And they got to go through all of that. So of course they saw Britt saying these things, but that's what I'm saying. We get they film for hours and we see 3 minutes. So they sat at that dinner, from my understanding, for 2+ hours, and they only showed us probably 10 minutes of it, maybe, maybe. And of course, they're going to show you the worst 10 minutes of it, and that's okay. Um, what Coach say? It's called growing up. Oh, Coach wants me to stay out of my feelings. That's because Coach, nobody told him it was okay for him to have feelings, so therefore, Coach wants me to stay out of my feelings. He can't relate. That's my boo. Hey, Marcus, love me some Marcus. Thanks, guys, for coming to my live. You know it's all scripted. I don't believe that, Coach. I definitely think that they redo things, and they definitely will say, okay, this happened. Well, we need you to do it, be more aggressive or be more, animated, whatever. I definitely do think that is scripted, but I don't think the whole show is scripted. I do think that their feelings that get caught up, I do think those are real. But the settings and where they're going and dressing up and all that, I do think all of that is all, I wouldn't say scripted, but it's certainly encouraged to be a certain way, right? Play into whatever it is that the audience knows you as. So Kenya, they know her as the sniper from the side that's going to read you from head to toe. That's what they want Kenya to be, right? Portia, we know, is probably just going to give us body for days, and I'm going to be a hoe for sale, right? That's what Portia's going to give. Cynthia is going to be probably the most level-headed, goofy one, for the most part, and she's going to give model. Now they have these new girls. Angela and her husband, the guy that's an ex-football or ex-basketball player, I don't know. It's something about that relationship that just does not seem real. It's almost like he's tolerating being married to her. That's what it comes across to me, but y'all let me know. Angela is trying to build her practice and trying to build her business, and this man is like, yeah, I'm gonna show up 2 hours late, and I don't really care about this. That's what he's giving. It seems like she's more in love with him than he is with her. That's just my personal opinion. But back to the Brit thing. So Brit popping off and saying, whatever about a weapon, that should never be tolerated. Okay. Bravo. Come to the front, Andy. Truly original NBC. All of y'all, come to the front. That shit should not be tolerated. This is not VH1 or BET or any of those other shows on the Zeus network. No. We don't want to see that. The people that started from the beginning, that started watching the Real Housewives of whatever franchise from way back when, we were watching because we wanted to see how the other side lived, right? We want to see the glam and the glitz, and we want to see you get dressed up and, get your makeup done and fly across the pond to go get a croissant. That's what we wanted to see. We want to see the excess, the jet setting, the beautiful beaches, the places we may never, ever get to visit. That's what we want to see. And then we want to see y'all, drop it like it's high, at the club, get along, have a good little girls' time. That's what we want to see. We want to see the husband be a boss. We want to see the wives be a boss. We want to see the kids excel. These are the things that we want to see. We don't want to see people always at each other's throat, mad at each other about everything, especially in Atlanta, because Atlanta's about the wealthy Black elite, quote unquote, which I don't believe anyone's fucking elite. That's just me. We're all people. We're all citizens of this earth. So who's elite to me? Not one person. I don't give a shit. You could be the president. You could be Beyonce. I don't give a shit. Ain't nobody elite to me. But in terms of finances and social status and all that kind of stuff, I guess they could be considered that. But I don't think anybody's better than me. It is what it is. It ain't changing over here. You on Chanel's reality. I'm not. Listen, Marcus, I'm not playing with you. Marcus says, I'm liking the tightness of your shirt. God's favorite. I am God's favorite. You a whole ass mess. But yeah, so that's what that to me is entertaining. So I feel like there are certain franchises that get it right. One of the franchises that gets it right is Beverly Hills. They're fake and phony as they come. Please believe is more plastic going on than at a plastic convention in Beverly Hills. But there's a level of balance, right? There are people on that show with real wealth, not just stunting. You know, there are people on that show that can really buy your whole ass house and your life and your children's life too. They have real wealth. People like Kathy Hilton, right? And they're not biting each other, cussing each other out. They're not doing all of that. That's what we want to see. Make more of the shows like that. I'm not saying they have to be exactly the same, but go back to the beginning. But I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even say this because I know we're not going to get the magic in the bottle that we had before or lightning in the bottle because the people that we loved before, the OGs, we love them because they knew each other. These people don't know each other. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. So then Kenya, so Britt Edie shows up with Kelly, who's a little short petite lady. She's just like, I could just put her in my pocket and take her with me. She shows up with her, and Kelly basically is trying to tell her, like, it's good that you came, especially since you just lost your aunt a few days ago or a week ago, whatever it was. Kenya will see that when it matters, that you showed up for her. And so she shows up, she immediately goes, from what we're shown, Britt Edie immediately goes, beelines to Kenya, gives Kenya the flowers, and immediately says, I apologize. Kenya pays her dust, honey, and keeps going on. And Kenya then immediately is like, can I get everyone's attention? Because she was waiting, in my opinion, for Britt Edie to show up. Now, prior to Britt Edie showing up, prior to Britt Edie showing up, Portia and some of the other ladies, Portia and I think Cynthia and a few of the other ladies that were already there, they're having this conversation about, well, do you think Kenya called Britt and told her, disinvited her? And, someone said, no, Kenya would. Someone was like, no, Kenya would have had, if Kenya didn't want you here, Kenya would have just had the security. The minute you showed up, she would just have the security escort you out. And she's absolutely right. I forget who said it, but they're absolutely right. That's what would have happened. So that's how I know this was very intentional, right? So Kenya didn't disinvite this lady on purpose. Kenya had been planning this whole thing for however many weeks. I don't know what the distance or time frame in between when they got into this little scuffle not scuffle, but really a big kind of like blowout argument at that place called the bank or the vault or something like that at that dinner for Angela and Kenya's actual opening of her event. I don't know exactly how much time has passed, but it had to be I feel like at least a few days because where did you get these photos of Britt sucking it? Like, I just would like to know, where did you get that from? I don't believe for a second that you just had that in your arsenal. I don't believe that. But I also believe the producers of the show are messy as hell, and they're doing whatever they can do to keep their job. Because remember, each cast member has a producer, someone who shows up for them and tells them what they really need. Ah, yay, honey! My husband just landed in another country. But anyways, so they have a person that's producing them. So when your person doesn't perform, so if Portia isn't giving the whole peach juice spin, if Kenya Moore isn't, telling bitches don't come for me unless I send for you and being iconic in that way, if Cynthia isn't just being Switzerland, whatever it is that's that person that they're producing's job is on the show, if they're not executing, you're getting fired. And so you trying to make sure you don't get fired. So I believe 100% that either one of the producers already knew this and gave her this tidbit, or maybe somebody on the cast knew it and gave her that tidbit, or gave it to the producer to give to her. Because where did she get these posters from? I know Kinko's or FedEx or whatever it is it's called now. I know they're good, but they ain't good. It ain't that good. You had to get the information. You needed to know, oh, whose dick was she sucking? Why was she sucking the dick? Where, like, she needed to investigate. So maybe she had a private investigator. But she did say in the episode before or earlier in this episode, she said she's going to do a background check. But I don't know, where do you get a background check about someone's sex life? So that's what makes me think there's some sort of what do you call this? Private investigator, because the private investigator is going to go find your ex-boyfriend, your ex-baby daddy, your new baby daddy. They're going to go find all of these people and they'll connect the dots. But everyone's had sex, and if you've been with your partner long enough, you probably filmed it for y'all eyes only. It is what it is. And I think a lot of people that do that aren't thinking that they're going to their private moment is going to be shown to a whole people full, in a salon full of, press and people in the community. They just probably aren't thinking that, so it happens. And I really hate that Kenya did this, because it's like, girl, you really humiliated yourself. You had this grand opening. You saying, I'm dedicating this to my daughter and I want her to see that I'm a boss and this, that, and the third. And really, you just showed her exactly what not to do, exactly how to tank your own ass career. She torpedoed her own sub. You, Kenya, come to the front. You torpedoed your whole ass life over this girl telling you that, I don't even remember what Britt even said to her. Whatever it was, I promise you, there's been way more people on this show that have done way worse. That if you wanted to set it on fire, you could have set it on fire with Marlo, Nene, even Cynthia a few times, Drew. Who else? Phaedra, Apollo, Portia, all of them. Kenya has been into it with everybody. But there are these people who are part of her team twirl, and they can't see just the forest for the trees, child. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to. Well, I'm gonna play a little bit about what's going on at the time when Kenya's getting ready to. She at this point, Britt Edie has arrived. Kenya then drunk a few shots, and now she's, I guess, got her bravery up. But I believe Kenya knew from the beginning this is not something she should do, but she did anyway. Let's see, what did Marcus say? Something's wrong with Marcus. Marcus said, "I wish I was the Oh, Marcus! I can't play with you. I'm not playing with you, Marcus. But thank you for supporting my channel." Okay, so let's listen. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Hold on, what's happening? Oh. You guys. I need everybody's attention, please. I want to tell you guys, I'm so happy that you guys came. This has been a labor of love for me. I have built this salon for my daughter, and I'm really proud of her. Get people trying to bring me down for no reason. And I'm actually really sick of it. I just wanted to apologize. So that's Kenya Moore prepping everyone in anticipation of what she's about to do, and show the audience about Britt Edie, who she has decided is a whole entire hoe. Okay. I'm gonna let you finish listening. So at this point, Britt Edie, when Kenya basically gives her the bye girl, Britt Edie immediately is like, "All right, I did my part. I said I apologize. I brought her some flowers. I showed up for her event. I support her. I'm wrong. You know, Kenya can't be the bigger lady." And so Kenya's like, "I'm paying her dust. Let me humiliate her." I just don't feel like the punishment fit the crime. Yes, that lady shouldn't have popped off. She shouldn't have said those things that she said, but I just truly don't understand why this is the punishment that, you're going to show this lady second, somebody Saint Germain. Like, I don't understand. And so now at this point in the episode, Kelly, who's a little pint-sized little your lady who's divorced or getting a divorce from what seemingly, according to her, is a deranged man. He told her, from what she said, that he was going to unalive her in the court with the judge, allegedly. Everything on Chanel's reality is, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only, and it's all alleged. I don't know none of these people. I wasn't there. But anyway, so she's outside standing up with some guy that I don't know. And Kelly, so Britt is, after, being basically paid dust to by Kenya. And then, so she's outside, doing the thing that they do. Okay, I've been thrown out, or I'm leaving because my feelings are hurt. But then the cameras follow them and make them stay at the location. So annoying. Because if I'm leaving, I'm leaving. I don't have time to talk to this camera. Y'all better follow me, or get me on the hot mic. But I'm not staying here. If I have to do that much to leave, I ain't staying here. What I'm staying here for? But I guess they got to get their paycheck, so that's why. So she's basically explaining what happened and why she's leaving. This is Britt.
But she raised my car. It was very thoughtful. We feel read it. And, get situations like the other night when we were at dinner, there was a person looking for a moment. And she came for me. Surprises, surprises. And this person who just came here with these fake flowers, somebody take these and just get it on out of here. Give them somebody home.
So Kenya, so like I said, Britt bought Kenya some beautiful flowers, and Kenya is just such a bitch that she can't even have the flowers in her salon. It's beautiful, and their flowers are gonna die. Like, girl, let me keep these flowers. Yeah, I love flowers. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm trying my best not to judge the Kenya's response, but it's like she didn't even do anything to you today. If you really hate this lady this much, you really think that she's came for you in that way. Why is she here? Why is she here, Kenya? She's here because you want to humiliate her. And a lot of people in the streets have been saying, these YouTube streets, they're like, well, Kenya, you are eating your words, because a few years ago, when Nene Leakes was quote unquote getting fired from the show and everything was falling apart in Nene's life, Kenya didn't give a shit. She was like, you can't sue the company that's you're working for, and that's stupid, and da 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 da. She's quote unquote trying to give Nene the game when Nene's a whole OG. And don't get me wrong, Nene has done a whole bunch of shit, and can't be wrong about nothing a lot of times. But Nene's a good time. Nene, in my opinion, isn't really a mean girl. You make up with Nene, Nene be made up with you, child. And yeah, y'all might get into it in another hour or another day. But for the time being, y'all gonna have a good ass time. Kenya is one of those people. She's like Giselle from the Real Housewives of Potomac. She's gonna watch and wait for her moment. She might kiki with you or make you think whatever for now, but no, she coming to get your ass, and that's Kenya. And everybody knows it, including Kenya. Britt just didn't know it. And a lot of people are online talking about, oh, Britt is just she's just a fan. First of all, let's take the word fan out of y'all's mouths, okay? Because just because I watch this show that you're on does not mean I am a fan of you. I'm a fan of the show. Don't get it twisted. And for all the people who are like, oh, she's a fan, so is Kenya, so is Portia, so is Marlo, so is who else? Phaedra, and on and on and on. All these mofos are fans. Be clear. Unless you started with Orange County, you're a fucking fan. Period. End of story. You don't just waltz on to reality TV without knowing anything about it, especially if you're rich and you got shit to lose. You don't do that. You checking it out. Who going to go to a job and know nothing about it? Absolutely nobody. And this idea, oh, I didn't watch the show, I didn't blah, blah, blah. Lies. They're all lying. All of them. You have to know about what job you're going to perform before you go to the job. And you would be an idiot not to do research on it. Be very clear. So, oh, she's a fan of the show, and she was a super fan of Kenya, and she just wanted to come over here and have her moment. Kenya was a fan, wanted to come on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and have her fucking moment, just like everybody else. So, miss me with the bullshit. Like with that, it's just so phony. And let's be clear. There's a difference between a fan and a fanatic. Okay? A fanatic is somebody who really thinks that the people on the TV that they're watching, or the people that they are such huge fans of, actually care about them, or take some sort of like a situation. Oh, this person doesn't like me anymore. They get jealous in their head. They think the people actually want them to like. It's just a whole mental thing. Just because I like a show and like a person on the show when I happen to get on the show does not mean that I'm deranged or that, none of that. But that's what these people would like to have us believe, because we're at home watching TV. They're like, oh, you're at home watching TV. And so were you, bitch, before you got on the show. So stop it. Like, knock it all the way off. And that's for all of them. Portia, Phaedra, Giselle, all of the ones, the people that everybody's faves, they were all at home watching the shows, just like us. They just happen to be in the room and happen to have enough of the lifestyle and enough of the connections to get on TV. And the problem is they don't realize they're all going to get this. Listen, the way these tables are going to turn on your ass on the Real Housewives or whatever, it's all going to turn. And the thing that bothers me the most with Kenya in this situation is, girl, you prayed so hard for so many years, and I'm sure other people prayed for her, to have a baby. You got this beautiful daughter, God sent, in my opinion. Why the hell is this your example that you're showing her of how to reply and respond when someone does something you don't like? Like, grow the fuck up. Excuse my language, but that's just how I feel about it. Like, grow up. I don't want you, filming and saying this is in dedication to my daughter. I prayed for her and da 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 da. And then the next thing you do is show another woman giving head to a dude or whatever it was. I didn't see it. They didn't show it to us. What are you talking about? And see, I know if I said that to her, even if she knew me or didn't know me, she would be offended by it. You brought your daughter into this. You are over here saying that you're doing this for your daughter, and then within 5 seconds of doing it for your daughter, quote unquote, for her legacy, you then throw it all away by showing another woman in a position that you know isn't cool. And also in a position that you've been in before multiple times. Let's not get it twisted. And you don't know how to choose friends or anything, like, in my opinion. I don't know Kenya, but in my opinion, she keeps making the same mistakes. She keeps putting herself in situations that are not healthy for her. She married that guy, Mark. That wasn't healthy. He didn't do anything but take advantage of her, use her. And from what I understand, he's like bankrupt now. And I don't know if he's homeless, so I won't go that far. But I've heard, the streets are saying he lost his business, and I'm not laughing at that. But he made his bed. He could have, like, listen, if Mark wasn't a narcissist, he could have made away like a bandit. All he needed to do is be Kenya's beard. That's all he needed to do. He needed to just show up and be handsome, and he's handsome as handsome could be. Show up, sexy, handsome, cute, assertive. That's all he really needed to be. He didn't even have to have the cake and eat it too. You got a model wife. Y'all got a beautiful daughter. All you have to do is keep your fucking dick in your pants and pretend that you in love with this lady. She already, like she said, she already had her house paid off, this, that, and the third, but he wanted to be one of those men who needs to be in control of you. And so he constantly, brick by brick, tore her down to where I'm sure her self-esteem was in the toilet. She was humiliated and everything else. And now she's bouncing back, and thankfully she's gotten a divorce from him. But you haven't learned anything. What have you learned, Kenya? Nothing. But let's finish with them.
Because women around. Sir, at least let me keep the card for. You got this flower wall in here. At least just put the flowers at the front door. No, don't keep the card. Don't keep the card. Burn that.
Petty.
Hey, someone's looking confident.
Sorry. So I'll play this last little part, and then we'll go through the other parts. I can't. Marcus is crazy. Marcus, you are crazy. And so is Coach Ferg. I don't know why they be on here. Coach Ferg, what did he say? Oh, that's scripted, right? What did Coach Ferg say about me? Everything is about my feelings. It blocks vision. No, it doesn't. Feelings help with your growth, Coach. And it's a natural thing. Stop. Something is wrong with Marcus. Okay, let's finish listening.
Me information. Everybody trying to see this girl second away. This is so crazy.
Yeah.
Where did Kenya get this from? And why are we seeing it? And why is it blown up? You can say, "Oh, I've seen pictures of you. I got receipts," but to show it, I could not believe my eyes. Don't tell me it's I am mortified. Come on now.
Now that's saying something. When Portia Williams, Stewart, Peach Juice, Gubadia is running around the earth talking about, I'm floored. It's pretty bad. Because, it's not far for Portia to go to be on the floor. Okay. Child, let's finish listening.
And seem like I was in agreement of anything. I don't support this. Who is trying to take food out of my daughter's mouth? That's what this is about. So thank you very much for support.
So explain to me, what does Britt telling you that she got, pistols and whatever else? She got pew pews and she'll pow pow. She didn't even say that. She said she has pew pews. She said some other things, but I don't feel like, and it's tomato. I don't feel like. Sorry, guys. My husband just landed in Taiwan, and he want to call his honey bun, but he's searching for food in the airport. I'm like, give me something for Hello Kitty. I love Hello Kitty. She's my girl. Love Hello Kitty. If you are on my live still, if you're part of the replay crew, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. This is a free and easy way to support Chanel's reality over here. Support God's favorite, okay? I'm God's favorite, honey, okay? But yeah, my husband just touched down, and so I'm a mind my business right on over here at the hotel, child, getting my whole life. It's something about living in a hotel. It's great. Yeah, I mean, you get room service. They come and bring your car. They clean your room for you. They bring. Look, I think I told y'all earlier. They brought me a bottle of champagne. It's over here, child. Look, this drink right here, child. Shout out to my friend Gabby, because I used to always be like, I hate the holidays and blah 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 blah. But one night I was at her house. It was, I think, after the club, child, and she was like, "I'm gonna make you something," and she made me something called an amaretto sour. Love, but I like the amaretto sweet better. It's better. But anyways, um, it was right. It was smooth. She made it. It was just like, oh, I was like, yes, I love this. So anyway, yesterday I had something called a three-wheel motion. Shout out to the Drip Nation at the Drip Show. He told me about the three-wheel motion. I don't know what it is, but it was pretty, and I drank it, and so there's that. So basically, back to the Real Housewives of whatever of Atlanta recap. So basically, Shamia, Kelly, Portia, even Cynthia, they left. They left. They was like, yeah, this ain't cool. It ain't cool. I just want to know what I cannot understand what, I can't understand what Portia, not Portia, Lord Jesus, what Kenya was thinking. Like, what in her mind said to her? I guess all I could think is she must have said, I'm gonna embarrass her by showing her sucking dick. Listen, she went to hell. Okay, as far as low as you can go, definitely. But there's this, people outside in the chat, they all, in the group chat talk about, well, Kenya should deserve to be back and Britt should have got fired too, and this, that, and the third. And I think I could make I could see how both people should be fired, certainly. But I don't necessarily think that Britt didn't do anything criminal. Kenya did something criminal, allegedly. If you are weaponizing someone's sexual act or them being in the nude without their express consent to get at them, that's where you get the whole word revenge P. That's where it comes from. You're using something that is puts me in a very vulnerable position to humiliate me because I won't do what you want me to do or because I did something to you. That's why there are laws against it, even in the state of Georgia. Go look it up. What she did qualifies as it. What I can't understand is why Edie didn't sue her, didn't do anything. That part I don't understand. Maybe she's just not a litigious person, but that's certainly what I would have done immediately. And I would have got her fired immediately. But maybe she felt like I got her fired, so that's enough. I don't need to also then criminally have her charged with anything. So, if the prosecution or the state doesn't want to, file charges against you, then you can kind of just move on with your life. But I do think something should have happened. I think it was right for Bravo to say, deuces, sis, we can't support this. I do. But I also think that Britt should have had some sort of repercussions for even bringing up the word pistol in the way that she did. I think Britt went too far. But again, I do feel like we got to look at the whole picture. We can't just look at the part that we want to see. And the part that we want to see is if you're Team Britt or Team Kenya. And all of the people that are Team Kenya, go keep being Team Kenya. But explain to me how she's supposed to explain this shit to her daughter. You sat up there in your salon, Kenya, come to the front and said, I'm doing this for my daughter, and then did the opposite. Because now, I don't even know. Is Kenya's spa still open? Let's look it up. Kenya Moore Hair Spa. Is it open? Okay. So it says on Google, it says it says Kenya Moore's Hair Spa's grand opening. Oh, so it opened last June 2024. As of February 2025, it appeared that the doors have remained open with seats filled. The brick and mortar is located in Chamblee, Georgia, an area northeast of Atlanta at 5211 Peachtree Boulevard. Okay. So she survived it. But allegedly, her hair care products are no longer sold at Sally Beauty stores. That's bad. I think Kenya's issue, to me, the bigger issue with Kenya and her hair spa is that Kenya isn't wearing her own hair. And there's a difference between hair styling and hair that just grew up in you just got naturally from your genetic pool, from your grandparents and your mom and them. So her hair length has nothing to do, in my opinion, with the products that she's selling. It has everything to do with that is the hair that God created you with, that your parents gave you. That's where you got it from. So it's like saying, I'm gonna sell a product to black women that's gonna make their hair look like white women's hair. There's not a product out there like that. Period. Mm-mm. Not a flat iron, not a perm, not nothing. No, because they're two totally different things. Now, we could buy you a wig, okay, and then it could look similar, but there's not a product. And that's where, to me, where Kenya lost it with the hair spa. If you want to, I think Kenya would have done better opening a spa that had more to do with like facials and maybe getting your nails done and things of that nature and still selling your hair care products. That would have been a smarter move. But Kenya wanted to do the hair salon thing because she's one of those people, from what I could tell, that wants to say, just because I have an audience and I have a tribe and I have this many clicks and views and this many people who like me on Twitter and this many followers and on and on and on, that as long as I put my name on it and I can advertise it on TV, I'm going to win. No, that's not how it goes. Because with those type of, the beauty industry is extremely subjective, right? So not every hair salon or hairstylist is the same. They're not all created equal. So the lady that can get your hair together and it's short and it's beautiful and it's together, that's one lady. A whole nother lady that's over here that can braid your hair and snatch it all together. It's a completely different lady that is going to, wrap your hair and flat iron it. It's just there's different people for different things and different styles. They're not all created equal. And the problem with her situation is you need to have the biggest and the best stylists wanting to work for you. And a lot of stylists that are the best, the biggest and the best have their own shit going on. They're not going to say, oh, okay, let me come work for Kenya more. Why would I do that? If I'm already a boss bitch, I'm already, people waiting in line for 2 months to get a haircut or to get whatever it is. Why the hell do I need to come work for you? I ain't doing that. So it would have been better, in my opinion, for her to have like a school of beauty. Even her and Cynthia could have done something with that. That would have been smarter, right? I'm going to talk about beauty and makeup, have a makeup bar, and then, maybe a wash and blowout spa. That makes sense. You can come get a facial, you can get a pedicure, get your nails done, and then you could also get makeup done and whatever else. That would have been a smart business move. Plus, she could have catered to like wedding events or graduations, all the women that want to come get their hair done. Because let's see, I think it's 3 things that always survive a depression. Okay. 3: tobacco, alcohol, makeup. Anything in the beauty industry is going to survive because women won't have enough money to wash their ass, to buy soap to wash their ass, but they will get that edge control. Okay. No, I'm joking. But you get what I'm saying? Like, they will definitely, they still want to feel, even if you're so extremely poor, you still want to look good. You don't want to look poor. Anybody that goes get the fresh haircut or fresh, braids or a new whatever, when you go get your hair done, color, whatever it is that you do, perk up a little more. You feel good about yourself because you look good. It just is a fact. It just is what it is. Kenya should have went down that road because when you're a stylist, hairstylist, you need to be able to deliver, you know, what the customers are coming in and bringing you. They're saying, this is what I want. You need to be able to do that. Kenya ain't been to cosmetology school. Therefore, she can't deliver that. So she would have to find people that can. And then trust that they're going to do what they're going to do and they're going to ride for her and they ain't going to move on. Because lots of hairstylists, they'll stay with within a company for a few months or maybe a year or two, and then they move on, especially if their physical location moves, they move on. So to me, it would have been better to have someone for her spa. It should have been makeup bar, maybe mani pedi, and then like blowouts. You have a certain type of hair, like the Brazilian blowout people. She should have had them in there. That's who she should have had in there. And those people would have got her customers all the way together. They'll have black people hair looking just like this hair I have on my head. Okay, they have your hair looking just like this. They will. Now you're gonna be in there for 16 hours, but they'll have that. She would have been winning because you don't have to train anybody. These people are already coming with clients. All she needed to do is have like a set standard of pricing. This is how much it is for these type of braids. This is how much it is for the makeup. And you add on, right? You gotta book your stylist or your makeup artist or your eyelash person all through KenyaMooreHairSpa.com, whatever that is. That, and I'm just telling you just a little bit here in the last 10 minutes. That would have been a winner. Have your girlfriends and whomever else coming through, have the elite coming through a time or two. That's the reason that people were going over to Old Lady Gang. I ain't never been there. I would love to see if their food is as good as, people have said on TV. But people, I promise you, a good amount of those people were coming because they were hoping on one day or someday that the Atlanta Housewives cameras would be there and they might get on TV. Or that, Todd might be there or Mama Joy's or Candy or whoever. That's what's going to keep them coming. And as long as Candy and them are showing, that they're coming with the cameras every once in a while, that's all they need. I don't think the Old Lady Gang ever going to close, personally. Because if they have good enough food, people will go there. Like me. I didn't order my Mickey's Cafe. I did a little live on this earlier. Look. Can I get it out? It's too big. I don't want to get it out. That sounds nasty, huh? It's too big. It's too big. I don't want to get it out. Anyway, I could talk to you guys about the rest of the episode, but it's like I've been talking to y'all for an hour now, and I don't even feel like talking about the rest of the episode. But I'll just throw these few things in there. So um so the episode picks up where Portia is insinuating that she knows something about Angela's pro NFL husband star, celebrity star, whatever it is. And she knows something about him, but she doesn't really know anything. Or she doesn't share it. She just teases it. So I guess that'll come down somewhere later. Um and like I said before, I think Angela, it just doesn't ring true to me that that man is in love with her. It doesn't. It feels like she wanted him and she wants to have the marriage and everything else, and he's just there for the ride. I don't get from him, I love you and I want to be here for you, because he's constantly going against her. She's like, come help me with my house, and he shows up 2 hours late. It's just shady. Um, so Portia goes to Kenya's hair salon or hair spa, and I guess in preparation for Kenya to open her hair spa or whatever the case may be, and they talk. Kelly joins them and talk about the hair spa. Kenya, I feel like, is very welcoming to both of the women, which is odd because that's not normally how they show Kenya. They usually show her being combative and a bitch. So, um, so they discuss Britt Edie's comments about the pistol and the pew pew and all of that, and Portia's kind of like, I think you should give her another chance, and Kelly's kind of saying the same thing, like, I don't really think Kelly's really going to bat for Britt, and kind of like, that's just not the person that I know. Maybe y'all should just have a conversation, that type of thing. Kenya ain't trying to hear it. So then Angela in the next scene meets her daughter at a coffee shop where they don't have coffee. And they talk about how, her daughter lives with the grandmother in the house that I guess Angela and her husband bought for her mom, and Angela's sister, which is Angela's daughter's aunt. They live there, and there's something about, the daughter wanted to use the car that Angela bought for the daughter's grandmother, and she wouldn't let her for whatever reason. And so something happened where Angela's sister, who is her daughter's aunt, says that Angela's daughter, is a demon or something like that. And it's just like, whoa, who calls their niece a demon? Like, that's a lot. Like that, I don't understand that. That's just very weird to me. Um, and Angela's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me? I'm going to handle that situation." And basically, the daughter is kind of acting a little bit like, I do everything for them, and I give them money, and so do you. And you need to basically cut them off, especially her. Like, I love my grandmother, but you need to cut off your sister and that type of thing. She's like, I give them money, and I'm just thinking to myself, some of this just don't add up. Like, so your mom has a few coins and your stepdad has a few coins, and she apparently pays for the house and everything that your grandmother lives in. I don't understand why you can't live in your mama's house, or why you don't have your own house. Like, that's what's confusing to me, because you're 25 years old. And I'm not a person that's an advocate for kicking your children out and all that. I'm not, but it doesn't make any sense that you're going to go live with your grandmother. Why wouldn't you live with your mom? Then she brings up that her daughter got married, and I could tell she was really kind of like, that bothered her, that her daughter would go off and do that. And I'm assuming it bothered her because she probably don't like the boyfriend or the husband, and probably for good reason. And now you're married. So, is that a fire truck going on? What is happening? But the mom seems hurt by that. She seems hurt that the daughter says that the granny did this, or that the auntie, really more than anybody, did something else and called her out of her name and stuff like that. So, um, at some point, Britt and Portia meet up to basically say, so Portia, I guess, is trying to hear Britt out, and Portia's basically like, yeah, she's trying to like son you, but really for the most part, everybody that I talked to about it didn't say that Kenya was coming for you. So, maybe you need to just chill on that and like just apologize, and y'all can move forward. And that's really the gist of their conversation. There was more said, but like I said, it's not enough to where it's like, oh, I need to go on and on about it. So I'm trying to think. Everybody, Drew meets with Portia's baby daddy, Dennis, the hot dog guy. She meets with him to basically say, when I meet with my friends, this is kind of hostile, and they're feeling away because they think that me and you have something going on, and I need you to handle it. And he basically says, no, you need to handle it. And he wasn't mean or anything like that about it, but I get it. He's just like, look, I can't control Portia. I never watched Portia's Family Matters or whatever it was, but I heard the whole time it was a whole hot ass mess. I don't understand how Portia could be a housewife and seem at least more put together and, not gonna be that bitch. And then on her Portia Family Matters was just a whole hot ass mess. Like, from what I've heard, she like tried to fight Dennis' mama. It's just like, girl, well, you gonna beat up your baby daddy mama? Like, I can't. I can't. I don't think anything else really of note happened in the episode. I'm sure I wrote some more stuff down, but that's about it. So, like I said, hit the like button. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to go and mind my business after I get off of this live with you guys. I feel like I want to go get something sweet, like Cheesecake Factory or something. Pineapple upside down cake cheesecake sounds so good. And I probably should go and get it. But I don't feel like leaving. Oh my God. I do not feel like leaving. Mm-mm. And it's gonna piss me off that the cheesecake's probably gonna be $12. This is gonna piss me off. And the cheesecake slice is gonna be like this. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go to a place called Dessert Gallery. Maybe they'll have something there. I think they have good cheesecake too. I don't know. We'll see. But until next time, guys, y'all have a good one. Be safe. Follow your dreams. Don't let people stress you out. You only have one life to live. Ain't no dress rehearsal. You can't do this again. So go love on the people that love you. Be kind to others. Be considerate. Speak less. Listen more. It's just my way of life. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Since you won't be here with me on Chanel's Reality.